Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Car Reviews Podcast here with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Just a note, remember, we also run the Collector Car Stories podcast. Please take a look at the CCC podcast page on the website or our YouTube channel and have a look at the Collector Car Stories podcast. We have a lot of fun with them. They're basically a story each episode, and we talk to an enthusiast about a car, a collection of cars, an automotive event or initiative, and we get the full story behind them. We have a lot of fun with them. If you think that you might have a story or a car that it's worth our following hearing about, contact us, please. Maybe we could do an episode about you. Info at collectorcarcanada.ca or use the contact page on any page of our website, collectorcarcanada.ca. So, about the cars in today's episode, we do make an effort to think about the backgrounds for these videos. And I acknowledge the one we have today is a repeat. But it being a repeat, it is highly appropriate for us to use today because today's episode is about three 80s Porsche turbos. So the cutoff date of the poster behind me is about 1983, I think, is the most recent car on it. So a couple of the cars are slightly newer than this poster, and it goes chronologically, the more recent stuff towards the bottom. I think the very bottom might be cut off in the picture. But we have three Porsche turbos from the 1980s to tell you about today. So we're really excited about that. Not just to have three Porsches at the same time, but three turbos. So yeah, we are charged up. The first one to talk about, it's a 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo Coupe 4-speed manual, also known as a 930, the internal name at Porsche for the G-body turbos, as they're called. 4-speed manual might catch some of the younger folk by surprise, but there was not a 5-speed manual Porsche turbo out of the factory until the 1989 model year. So 4-speed manual, certainly period correct. It's the right transmission. This one is presented in yellow. It's a good imitation of speed yellow, but speed yellow came later for Porsche. And when I say a good imitation, it's because the cars had a color change. Originally, it was a red car. So take a good look at the finish of the yellow paint. It's really something. It really pops, and it's presented over a black leather interior. The leather on the seats, the door cards, as well as the finish on the headliner, all replaced in the past 2 or 3 thousand miles in the past 2 or 3 years. I can't remember precisely, but very little wear on the new upholstery. You can see there is some yellow stitch as an accent on both the door cards and the seats. If someone doesn't like that, maybe it's a little too much. It's easily dyed to black, so no worries there. So this one's lot 289 on collectorcarcanada.ca. US market car showing under 114,000 miles. Some uh, interesting modifications mechanically. A lot of the factory parts that have been replaced come with the car. So lots of details about all of that on our detailed listing. Again, lot 289 for the 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo Coupe 4-speed manual. Next up, we have also in 1986 a Porsche 944 Turbo 5-speed manual, also known by its internal factory code, the 951, to differentiate the turbo from the naturally aspirated 944s. So this one is finished on black. I think Porsche calls it just a beige interior. I'm going to call it linen in spoken word, but we use the word beige on our detailed listing. So this one, 2.5 liter inline four with the intercooled turbo, and that was good for 217 horsepower out of the factory. The 5-speed manual gets the power to the rear wheels. This one's lot 289 on collectorcarcanada.ca. Another US market car under 127,000 miles. Lots of recent mechanical work on this one as well, just like the 930. Uh, and lots of documentation about same. It's actually the owners of these separate owners of these two cars, they happen to use the same Porsche specialist in Burlington, Ontario, for the work. So the 951's in Toronto, and the 930 is in just outside of Burlington, technically Hamilton area. So, and then our third car to talk about today, another Porsche Turbo. This one is a 1980 Porsche 924 Turbo, 5-speed manual. So this one's known by its factory code as well of 931 to differentiate it from the naturally aspirated 924s of the day. So this one is a really neat color combo, a nari silver over a green metallic, a light or silvery green, I guess I'll call it. We've got the actual color name on the detailed listing. It's lot 288 on collectorcarcanada.ca. It's presented over the original chocolate brown interior, 2-liter inline four for the 8924 turbo with the 5-speed manual. Good for 100 and I think it was 143 horsepower out of the factory and 147 pound-feet of torque. Please check our detailed listing again, lot 288, for those actual numbers. This one's a Western car, and it shows it. If any of our central Canadian following is interested in this car and looking into shipping, we won't do the shipping for you, but we can refer a couple of names that past sellers have had success with. So use the contact us page on the website. And for all cars and every car on the website, use the contact seller button or the contact us button if you'd like to speak to the owner or set up a showing. People have the misguided notion that none of our cars are available for viewing before bidding. Not true. I love it when people go see the cars. I figure they're more likely to make a bid that way. So please make use of those buttons on the listings. And I think that does it for the intro. So here they come, a 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo Coupe with 4-speed manual, a 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo with 5-speed manual, and the 1980 Porsche 924 Turbo 5-speed manual. Enough of an intro. Here come the cars. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Another day, another Porsche Turbo. Today we have a 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo 5-speed manual, also well known by its internal Porsche code name, the 951. This one is finished in, if you look at the Porsche code, you'd see Schwarz, which is German for black. And it's got, I'm going to call it a taupe interior for now. We'll look that up and we'll get the Porsche name for the color on the interior. So lighter in color on the inside than the black exterior. So again, this one is the 944 Turbo, and 1986 was the first year for the Turbo in the 944 form. It was factory rated at 217 horsepower, quite a surge from the about 150 horsepower of the normally aspirated 944. Both amazing handlers. They still have that reputation with the 50-50 weight balance, or very close to it. And one thing I know from the Porsche world, the Porsche lovers who have limitless budgets, there are a lot of them who drive a 911 kind of on the street with license plates, but on the track, they don't want to risk their 911 because they're such high value items, but they'll drive 944 and 944 turbos on the track just for that reason, because they're such great handling cars. So again, this one's a 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo, 5-speed manual. It's a US car, so it's going to go to its new owner. It looks like the odometer's right at 125 at 9. So it's likely going to its new owner with under 126,000 miles. definitely under 127,000 miles. So yeah, as I say, a US car, and we've got the importation history on it on the Carfax, which you'll see on our detailed listing. This one is lot 290 on collectorcarcanada.ca. And I think it's time to give it a start. We'll start it up, listen to the engine, listen to the idle, and continue on with our tour of the car. So here we go with the startup. So no trouble at all with the start. I'll add that, as you might guess, this is not where the car was parked overnight. Oh, the AC started blowing when I turned it on, when I started it. So it's a good opportunity to let you know that the AC is blowing cold very nicely. You might have heard the idle just switch there as I turned the AC button off, being that the windows are open. Where was I? I was going to say how it was not a cold start. We are fresh from some driving videos. Do take a look at those. So we're going to listen to the engine now while it's idling. You can hear it at work on both City Drive and Highway Drive on our detailed listing. We've got several driving videos, acceleration, nice even cruising both at highway and city speeds. Take a look at those, lot 290. So I'll pop the hood and we'll have a listen to the engine. Good look at the 2.5 liter power plant, turbocharged. As I said earlier, factory rated at 217 horsepower, and we'll get in close for a listen. So here we go, getting in close to the engine here at idle. There are a few things to say about that engine compartment. I'll work our way back after we've heard the exhaust. So single exit exhaust here on the rear. And one of the things I wanted to say about the mechanicals of the car is that the exhaust is not stock. The owner's running pretty well a straight pipe out the rear with no catalytic converter currently. He's including a new catalytic converter and a Borla 3-inch exhaust. The exhaust we just saw is also 3 inches, so that's a good look at the size of it. But as I say, new Borla muffler with 3-inch pipe and new catalytic converter go with the car. You can see there are some light performance modifications on the inside of the car. Take a look at our detailed listing to see an itemized list. So we'll close that up. And I don't think we need the engine running anymore, so I'll cut the engine. So a good look at kind of my beauty angle of the car. I'll note that the tires are almost new, under 1,000, under 1,500 kilometers, I'll say, on the tires, and they they come to mind because the big wheels on this car pop out at me. That's a set of Porsche OEM wheels, just not OEM for this car. Those are called Carrera 2 wheels, and they were in use on the 996 911s. So they really make this car pop just that much more, going up from the OEM 16s to the 18-inch size. So let's get in closer at the driver's front. So as I say, a Porsche 18-inch Carrera 2 wheel. You can see the Porsche branded caliper underneath, Porsche center caps, and this set even has the Porsche red decal on the outside edge of the rims. The tires are by Max Trek, and the model is called Maximus M1. This front one is, I remember it being a 2, working my way around. Where is that darn size? There we go down here. So 225/40 ZR 18 with the W speed rating. We've got a date code for those on the detailed listing. And yeah, so you see Porsche on the caliper, we see Porsche on the center cap, and we see Porsche on the label. The wheels do have some marking on them, so I wanted to show you that. We've got some close-ups of that on the detailed listing for lot 290, with even with a coin for perspective's sake. So the black finish, you'll note that the just sort of on the front edge of the uh, fender here, there's some gravel guard, I'll call it. And you can see naturally with a 1986 cars, you see this pretty well on all the 944s, but that's there just to protect the paint that's behind it because the fender flares out a little more than the tire does. So that's to protect the paint behind it. It's more pronounced here in the rear where we see one in front of the tire, and then a little bit of the finish behind the tire, a lot like the one on the front fender. So flag mirror, as you'd expect, color coded, both sides. This car is equipped with a sunroof, power sunroof that flips up, and it is removable. So we got some pictures of it flipped up on the detailed listing. There's kind of a gravel guard finish on the rockers here that I believe would be factory. Very nice condition for it. Here's a good look at the Maximus rear driver's side tire. And back in the rear here, we got a staggered setup. This one's a 255/35 ZR18. Again, with the W rating for the Max Track Maximus M1 tires. Very low mile tires. Look for details on it on the detailed listing. I just noticed this Secure It label on the rear side window. We have pictures of all those labels on the detailed listing. I think I remember seeing Secure It for all of the pieces, all the panes of glass, which would indicate to me that it's likely an original glass vehicle. You can see that the extra sort of cladding below the quarter here. In 1986, you'd only see that on the turbo, so that's kind of a tell that we're dealing with a turbocharged car here, not the standard normally aspirated 944. Working our way back, color coded bumpers with the rubber protection on the sides. The taillights also look nice and clean. And then another big tell that we're working with a turbo is this turbo emblem here on just below the rear hatch. The hatch line is the same as the rubber spoiler. There's even a Porsche emblem on the rear spoiler. I bet there are a lot of people who haven't been up close to these cars, seen the spoiler, didn't realize it says Porsche there. Very subtle touch. The owner indicated to me that the rear wiper is non-functional. There are a couple faults with this car. We list them all off and show pictures of them on the detailed listing. I mentioned the car is a 1986 model year, first year for the center high mount stoplight or third brake light. Still in place in this car. And there's a good shot of the rear of it. Again, a straight pipe with the 3-inch tailpipe. You can see that piece of cladding below the quarter and bumper, again over here on the passenger side. We opened up the fuel door. We've got a couple pictures of it open on the detailed listing, lot 290. There's a good look at the passenger's rear Porsche Carrera 2-wheel, 18 inches, with the Max Trek Maximus M1 tires, W rated. A couple marks on this passenger rear rim as well. But as I say, we've got close-ups of those on the detailed listing, lot 290. You want to take a look at those. So the same effect with the protection for the flare-outs. And then same thing down below the door on the rocker. There's the gravel guard in place. Here's the flag mirror on the passenger side. Some stone chipping, both on the mirrors and the front bumper cover. But a good honest car. I'll show you the front bumper close up here in a second. But there's a good look at the passenger side, front wheel and tire. Again, the Porsche labeling on the caliper. on the center cap, and that red Porsche decal on the rim itself. Lights are in nice condition. We had in one of our driving videos, we demoed the pop-up headlights. We've also got stills of them popped up, so no trouble with those. So yeah, we're just taking a good look at that front bumper cover and front clip. There are stone chips on it, and even that rubber piece at the very bottom of it could probably deal with some re-adhesion, but still a worthwhile piece, not needing to be replaced. So I think that'll about do it for the, oh, I see a couple of flaws I'll show you. Um, there's a minor dent up here on the hood. Not sure how well the camera will pick it up, but we do have a photo of it on the detailed listing. And this one's a little more obvious from a distance. If you look at the rubber above the windshield, it's got a bit of a indent there. Nothing too serious, but you just notice it by eye. The farther you are, the more noticeable it is. But I don't think it's got any functional problem, more of a form. So that'll about do it for the exterior. Let's move on to the interior. All right, so we'll start our tour from outside of the car. You can see the linen or taupe colored leather seats with perforations in the inserts. The bolsters are not perforated. And the owner's got some aftermarket black floor mats in to protect the taupe colored carpets underneath. Being open and up front, these carpets could deal with a shampoo, depending on what the new owner's plans are for the car. Good look at the door card. There's a speaker up front, power windows, and a power mirror control as well. You don't see buttons over here for the central locking system, but there is one in the center stack below the head unit. A couple of map pockets on the driver door, as you see on the passenger door as well. So moving into the car, there's an aftermarket Porsche wheel. I believe the owner told us this is a 930 sport wheel, but we'll get that onto the detailed listing. Getting in close to the instrumentation by VDO. The bezels are chrome edged. You can see a coolant temperature and a fuel gauge on the far left. Next up, we've got a speedometer, which the highest number on it is 160, but there's a marking for 170 miles an hour. The less dominant measure is kilometers an hour, where the top number is 260. Again, under 126,000 miles today, but only 35 miles away from 126. So we're going to say this one goes to its new owner with under 127,000 miles. Don't be put off by the mileage on this car, please. The owners put several $1,000s into this car just in the past year, getting it ready for sale, and it's from a shop we know. We don't endorse shops, but we'd feel confident with its work. The same shop's going to safety the car, assuming the seller gets his price. The tachometer, max reading of 7,800 RPM. Down below that is a boost gauge measured in bar. Red line at 6,400 RPM. We've got oil pressure measured in bar as well, and then a voltmeter on the far right to keep an eye on your battery. Into the center we go. We've got the HVAC controls. Again, the car's air conditioning system is blowing cold. There's a functional digital clock. Just to the right of the clock, that's a cigar lighter, which can be removed for use as a 12-volt outlet. Glove box, nice and clean. There's an original owner's manual and warranty manual inside. There are a bunch of other personal items in there, so we're not going to open it up right this moment. And in the center here, we've got a multi-function modern Sony head unit. And as well, we've got controls for the sunroof, the power locks, mirrors, and the dial on the right is a fader for the stereo, not currently connected, but it can be. 5-speed manual. I suspect this shift boot has been upgraded just because of the contrasting stitch I see on the leather, but the leather's quite nice, including on the shift knob itself. There's a little ashtray here, not being used as such currently, and there's a little spot inside of the center console here for some storage. Maybe that doesn't want to open for us today. I'll try to get a photo of it after we're done the video. And then over on the driver's side, you see that power window control and the map pockets in the door. The same aftermarket black mats for the passenger front as well as in the rear seats. The seats are a combo of manual and power. On the left side of the picture now, you can see the manual control to move the seat forward and back, and then the recline functions are on those power switches you see. And there's a look at the rear seat, which is good in a pinch or good for small children. Probably not recommended for long trips with fully grown adults. And I see a little bit of loosening of that headliner over by the sunroof. I figure I better share that with you. The visors look to be in nice condition too. You can see we've got a few things in the hatch. So I'm not going to show that in the video, but I would say the carpet is of the same cleanliness quality as we saw at the driver's footwell. There is a space saver spare tire in there, and yeah, the taupe carpet extends to that. The current stays to keep the hatch open are pretty lousy, but the owner's got 4 of them in the hatch that the new owner can install. So that's a good look at the interior, I think. I'll walk around the car one more time and we'll move to some closing thoughts. So lot 290 on collectorcarcanada.ca for this 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo 5-speed manual. And just because it's such an icon, I'm going to move right in on that Porsche emblem here in front of the hood. So that's a good look at our 1986 Porsche 944 Turbo 5-speed manual. Finish in Schwarz in German for black with the taupe leather interior. I should have got that front seat down for this shot, but you can see it folded forward. Again, a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, so an inline 4. 86, the first year of the turbocharged 944. Good for 217 horsepower out of the factory. The 5-speed manual puts the power to the rear wheels, and the wheels are upgraded to a Porsche 996 wheel, known as the Carrera 2, and those are 18, so they really make not only the handling but also the look of the car pop with those 5-spoke bigger wheels, smaller sidewalls. Car's equipped with a pop-top metal sunroof, which is removable, and lots of recent service on this car. Take a look at the invoices, not only from the current owner, but from previous owner. We've got those on the detailed listing. And again, the car is going Ontario certified. So if the new owner's in Ontario, don't worry about your Ontario Safety Standards certificate. It comes with the car. Just under 126,000 miles on this US market car today. Again, it's lot 290 on Collector Car Canada. That's going to do it for this car. Thank you for watching, and on to the next car. Hi, everyone, and welcome to a really exciting car here on the Car Reviews podcast with collectorcarcanada.ca. Today, as I say, an exciting one. We have a 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual, also known by the internal Porsche name of 930. As I say, it's a 4-speed manual. The turbos, when they started out in 1975, could not find a robust enough 5-speed in the Porsche factory. So they were 4 speeds all the way through 1988. 1989, the last year of this G-body, the turbo got a 5-speed for 1 year only in the G-body, because the 964 began in model year 1990, continuing on with the 5-speed and eventually the 6 in the 993. But this car, 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. On the clock right now, it has under 114,000 miles.
It's a US market car. It's been with the same owner for 20 years, and he bought it in Canada. So you can see history on the car on our Carfax report in terms of the importation from the US. It's also had a color change. The current owner bought it as a red car. And when we looked around at the car, we could see evidence of the red. We pulled up the floor mats to get photos of the naked floor. We could also see in the engine compartment the remnants of red paint, rather. And then underneath, when we had some photos done at the owner's preferred shop, there was the red Cosmoline underneath the car as well. So, but I'll say one other thing I'll say on the color change is that no surface showing to the naked eye when the car is in operation. In no place can you see any red. But original red car, now a yellow car. I'm going to call it speed yellow, but I don't know that it's the proper Porsche speed yellow. Over the black interior, the interior was reupholstered in 2022. Over the last 10 years, the owner says he's done about 10,000 miles, so average about 1,000 miles a year for the past 10 years. Before that, though, altogether in his 20 years, he said he'd done about, I think it was about 43,000 miles. So the car has had its exercise, and it's had lots of work done to it in the recent past, in those 10,000 miles. The top end of the engine has been rebuilt. The transmission has been rebuilt. As I mentioned earlier, the interior. So the seats were reupholstered. The door cards were reupholstered. Even the headliner was changed, going back about 3 years on that. So about 3,000 miles ago. When we get a look at the interior, you're going to see evidence of what I say, because the interior of the car really does pop. Okay, so change of picture. We just wanted to reshoot when the car is cold. So this is a legitimate cold start. We did start it once, and we have that one as a demo video. So legitimate cold start. This is about to be the second start in 4 days. So as I say, we've got the cold start on the detailed listing for lot 289. The 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. When it rolled out of the factory, the 3.3 liter flat six engine was rated at 282 horsepower with 278 pound-feet of torque. So without further ado, the second start of the day for the purposes of our car review video. Here we go. All right. Later on in the video, you'll see a couple of gauges, aftermarket, that are mounted in the center, just above the center stack, and the controls for the air conditioning. As I'll say later in the video, the compressor's been removed, but it does come included with the car. In any event, the two gauges, one's for turbo boost, and the other one is for the air to fuel mixture. So I'm going to hop out and grab the camera, and we'll take a close look at the engine, get a listen to it and the exhaust at idle. We do have several driving videos on the detailed listing for lot 289, so you can hear the engine more at work then. For the sake of this video, just at idle speed. So the idle's just slowed down a bit. I'm just checking the tach. When I started it, it was a little closer to 1100 RPM. We can see it's dove down to about 750 or 800 RPM. And I've got a separate microphone so that we can listen into those pulleys and belts at idle speed. And now the idle. getting a start with our exterior tour of the 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. We'll move right in on the very proper Fuchs wheels, and they're lined in a set of Pirelli P0 Rosso tires. I noticed the date code on those is 2021, an estimated 3 or 4,000 miles traveled. So there's the Pirelli label and the P0 Rosso label. And you can see up front here, they're sized at 205, 55, ZR16 with the Y rating. And there's a look at the date code there for 2029, pardon me, the 2021, 29th week of 2021. Porsche center cap on the 16-inch Fuchs. You might have noticed in the background when we did the intro and the start that the owner lives by a gravel driveway. So as well as the car was detailed earlier, you do see some evidence of the dust from the gravel. We do notice a little mark up here by the driver's side headlight. And running my finger over it, I think I've got to conclude that it's a scratch. I'll pull out a toonie just to give you some perspective. And there's the coin relative to the scratch. So I think it's been touched up a little bit too. Moving along here, we've got the dual color coded mirrors in the 86 930. Clean down here as well. A little bit of gravel guard on the rocker, as well as the rubberized jack point. I did say earlier there's no evidence of any red, but when I get in really close, there's a little bit of paint imperfection on that rocker, and we do see a bit of red. Car is equipped with a sunroof. There's a look at it. We have some photos of that on our detailed listing. Again, lot 289. And then this black piece here, it's more than a contrasting piece of trim. It's to protect those fender flares that jut out so much, as you can see from there. In the driving videos we did of the car earlier, we had a little fun with that. Our cameraman, of course, was in the passenger seat, and he used the side mirror to get a shot of those wide haunches from up front using the rear mirror. So here's a good look at the driver's side rear Pirelli P0 Rosso tire. Pirelli, there's a P0 Rosso emblem. And in the rear here, we're looking at 245 45 ZR16, again with the Y rating, and also a date of 2021, so 47th week of 2021. The just wiping off what looks like some wax, and of course there's some dust here from the gravel. I think this is wax too, yeah. The owner had these wheels refinished in the past 3 to 5 years by the Wheel Wizard in Hamilton. So 3 to 5 years, in case it seems long ago, no more than 5,000 miles traveled since they were refinished. And of course, the tires are newer than that. You can look at the Porsche branded caliper here in the rear, and as well we can see the cross drilled rotor. So this was Porsche's performance car. I suppose there'd be some 928 aficionados who would argue that was more the car in 86. Of course, that was the 5-liter V8 had just started for the 928 at that time, but evidence of it being top model with these Porsche branded calipers and the cross drilled rotors. So we're working our way around. Of course, the big whale tail spoiler, and in case you think that's just for show, take a look at our detailed listing photos, and we saw it when we toured the engine earlier. Of course, that intercooler juts out way above where the line from the rear glass down to the bumper would go. So although that looks like it juts out somewhat awkwardly, there is as much function behind it as form. I should say more function to it than form. So there's a good look at that whale tail spoiler from the rear. 86, of course, the first year for the center high mount stop lamp or the third brake light, and there it is in place. We've got a rear wiper as well, which folds up smartly, I might add, when the engine cover is opened. And then the two bumperettes to protect the bumper. Surrounding right now is our own license plate cover. And there's a good look at the single exit. The owner had been running a straight pipe for most of the last few years. He has had a fab speed muffler installed for the new owner, but the straight pipe setup is just another thing that goes along with the car on the deal for this 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. Again, lot 289 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So the straight pipe, as well as the original intercooler and some other mechanical goodies, we do have photos of in the detailed listing. We also talk about it in words on that detailed listing. So I'll get a look at that fender flare from here in the rear. Really does jet out for as much performance as looks, if not more performance than looks. And here's a good look at the P0 Rosso here on the passenger side right, mounted of course on the Fuchs wheel over the disc brakes with Porsche branded caliper and cross-drilled rotor. Do you see a bit of an imperfection on the flare protection here? There's a crack in that rubber piece. Nothing too catastrophic, however. And I noticed the bit of red paint on the rocker on the driver's side. I don't notice it over here on the passenger side. And then we've got the passenger side color-coded flag style mirror. Porsche people call that the flag style. It looks kind of the shape of a flag. And then we've got the fourth tire to see in our little walk around. Again, it's 205/55 ZR16 for the P0 Rosso. Up here up front, Y rated 2021 date code, a profile view of the front spoiler and bumper. Now that bumper was replaced after a mishap just a couple of years ago. You can see the details of that on the Carfax. No structural damage. And as I say, we've got the full story on the Carfax. So take a look at that, please, on the detailed listing. The exposed headlamps in the sugar scoop style, complete with headlight washers just in front of them. So a 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual in really presentable condition. Let's move on to the interior. Move into the interior. I'm not going to climb into it right away. I did want to show you, without me sitting on the seat, the reupholstered leather here on both seats. We happen to be closer to the driver's seat. And there's a contrasting yellow stitch to match the exterior of the car. I made a wisecrack to the owner a little while ago about how you couldn't go back to the red paint if given that the seats were contrasting yellow now with that stitching. And he told me that the person who installed the upholstery said they could be dyed to whatever color you wanted in about 10 minutes. So I was kidding around about the red, but maybe the next owner is going to prefer black, and piece of cake to get it switched over to black. Going back from black to yellow might be a little bit more of a trick, but up to the next owner. And I'll also show the reupholstered door card, and it's got that same dual stitch pattern in yellow. Nice and tight. Power windows on the 911 Turbo, and there's the door lock, and there's the manual control for the door lock. Door hinges look nice and clean, as do the sills, and we've got pictures of the undersides of the doors, in addition to many, many photos, even a video of the underside of the car on our detailed listing, again, lot 289. So we'll get in a little closer. As I said earlier, the car was detailed in the past couple of days, but the owner's lucky enough to live on a nice acreage here, but it's got a gravel driveway, so the dust sort of follows the feet of the occupants, and that's why we see it's not perfectly clean. The passenger side, I suppose, a little cleaner, but recently detailed pre-driveway, gravel driveway drive down. So, getting into the instrumentation here, of course, you see the centrally mounted tack, all business in this sports car. You got a fuel tank over on the left, and then the oil pressure gauge. All the instrumentation is by VDO, you see there, pretty common to Porsche. And we've got, I almost said coolant temperature, but this is an air cooled car, so there's no coolant temperature gauge in this car. So oil temperature and then oil pressure. Into the center, the tack, and to the right. Again, I mentioned earlier it's a US market car, so we see it miles per hour as the dominant measure. We do see kilometers an hour though in the gray numbers. And today we're at 113,634 miles, going to its new owner with under 114,000 miles. Down below, you can see the switch for the headlight washers. And to the right of it, there's a still functioning VDO quartz clock. I could even hear it ticking when we were doing the photos. Ignition over here on the left side of the steering wheel, and there's the headlight control. Moving to the center, the car is equipped with air conditioning. The compressor, although removed, does come with the car. The original Blaupunk Monterey SQR23 is in place. However, their speakers are not installed in the car right now. The current owners of the mind that this car's sound is about what the engine and exhaust make. So pre-wired for speakers, no speakers installed at the moment. Fog light control up there above the radio, and a lighter, and a park brake and fasten seatbelt warning up to the top left of the radio. And as I say, the air conditioning, the compressor is not in place right now, but those are the HVAC controls otherwise. The turbo boost gauge, that was at the base of the factory one's at the base of the tack here. The one at the base of the tack needs repair. I think the owner said he was quoted around $1,000 to have that done. He's not had it done. He's had, I think I mentioned he's had the top end rebuilt. With all that engine work, he decided to go for this combo set here. So there's no air fuel ratio from the factory in this car, but you can see there's one installed on the right now. So that enables the driver to monitor that ratio. Keeps it around 14, I think it is. And then there's a boost gauge on the left side. You can see um, the Turbo Smart emblem above the needle. So that boost is measured in bar, just like the Germans like to do. And then down below, there's more climate control gauges, or controls rather. But as I say, the compressor is torn out. Well, torn out's not the right word. Removed. Rear defrost and four-way hazards, as well as a fader for the stereo should the new owner decide to put speakers in. Four-speed manual, I've told you about that earlier on the 930s. And the handbrake is set. And as well, there's a rear defrost gate right there. If you sense the cut in the action, it's because the owner just pulled in another car and I wanted to speak to him before he brought dinner home to the family. In any event, so there's a good look at the passenger side, even less wear over there as you see. But yeah, only a couple thousand miles done since these seats were reupholstered. And there's a different angle of the reupholstered door card with the dual yellow stitching. Good look at the footwell for the passenger. So long as I mentioned it, we'll just pull these mats up and you can see, I got him caught behind his seat control. You can see that this was originally a red car, but in terms of corrosion, certainly clean floors. And there's the one for the passenger side. We pulled them up for the rear or the rear footwells as well. But yeah, pretty clean interior. So the passenger seat is manual only. However, it's a combo on the front seat. So this control moves the seat forward and back. And then these you can fiddle with the recline. Pretty common Porsche controls for um, the 80s. I mentioned a 928 earlier. They've got very similar seat controls. And look at the rear seat. You don't want any big adults going for long drives in them, but in a pinch, they can be used. They can be used for small children as well. I got a look at that parcel shelf earlier too, and it looks to be in good condition, as is the dashboard. No signs of wear. Certainly no hints even of cracking on the dash. And I mentioned the seat covering, the seat upholstery, and the upholstery on the door cards, as well as those. The headliner was replaced in the last couple of years too. So really presentable interior. So long as we're talking about the interior, let's go take a look at, well, I suppose it's not part of the interior, but the front trunk, or the frunk as some Porsche people like to call it. It's a little tricky to open here. Let's see if I can do it with the camera running. There we go. So nice clean underside of that front trunk cover, and clean carpet as well. You can see some fluid top-ups there, and underneath the carpet there's a space saver spare, and there's a tool roll down there as well. We unrolled that for the photos. So the tool kit, I won't call it mint condition, but it is intact, and you can take a look. When I say take a look at our detailed listing for the photos. Lot 289 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So that's our look at the 1986 Porsche 911 Turbo 4-speed manual. Again, it's a yellow. It's a color change from the original red over a reupholstered black interior with light yellow accenting that can be reversed to black should the new owner desire. Under 114,000 miles on this US market car. It's been with the current owner about 20 years. And it's lot 289 on collectorcarcanada.ca. That's going to do it. So thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with collectorcarcanada.ca. Today we have another Porsche, a 1980 Porsche 924 Turbo, known internally at Porsche as the 931, to differentiate the 924 Turbo from the naturally aspirated models. So this one is lot 288 on collectorcarcanada.ca. You can see here we've got a two-tone combo of a Nari silver and onyx green metallic, a pretty cool understated color combo, and that's paired with a chocolate interior, all original. You can see here we've got pop-up headlights on the car, still functional, a neat 80s look, a lot like a 944 as well. And you can see those openings between the headlights as well as the venting opening on the hood. Two indicators that this is no ordinary 924. It's the turbocharged model. So in other words, the Porsche coded 931 to stand for 924 Turbo. So working our way, you can see this car is equipped with a sunroof. So that is hinged on the front and pops up at the rear. It's also removable. Here's the chocolate brown interior featuring a 3-spoke Porsche emblemed steering wheel fronting the instrumentation by VDO. The original upholstery is still in place, same with the carpets. And moving over to the center stack, a neat touch of this car is it still has its original Porsche branded AM FM cassette stereo head unit in place. Over to the speedometer, which maxes out at 260 kilometers an hour. The reading on it is a little under 82,000 kilometers. The owner believes that to be original mileage, but without a paper trail of every oil change this car's had since new. We're not able to corroborate it, but we do see his point when you look at the condition, overall condition of the exterior and especially interior of this car. It's consistent with an 82k kilometer car. Rear seats, just the two belts for two separate seats in the rear. Not exactly Cadillac caliber, but okay for young children or adults in a pinch. In the hatch, the chocolate brown theme continues. Nice carpeting over the hatch, and you can see the indent at the bottom of the frame now to indicate the Space Saver spare tire. That's where it's kept. And this car even still has its original matching vinyl car cover, and it still even retracts. So a nice clean hatch. Here's a good look at the engine compartment. So it's a 2-liter inline 4 with the turbo, of course. Good for 143 horsepower from the factory and 147 pound-feet of torque. And this is a Western car, and the underside here really is consistent with the Western background of the car. So pre-1981 models of the 924 and 924 Turbo only had the lower halves of their bodies galvanized. So galvanization is something Porsche began in the mid to late 70s. And in 1981, all the 924s had their entire bodies galvanized, but only the lower half for this 1980. But we can get a pretty good sense of what the upper half looks like. And so, yeah, the fact that the lower half was galvanized certainly adds a little bit of peace of mind for the bidders. And then you can take a look at the two keys included with the car. It still has its original owner's manual. And over the 3 years of ownership that our seller has had the car, he's done quite a bit of DIY recommissioning of the car. We have a collection of part slips. As I say, most of the labor's been DIY style. One decommissioning, though, is that the air conditioner is no longer functional. So the AC decommissioned, as I say. So we'll move over to now some videos, and here's a start of our videos with a cold start with the idle from the dashboard. And the decommissioned AC controls. Next up, we'll talk about the idle, another idle from the dash, so you can get a sense of the engine speed at idle. And now let's move over to the engine compartment and listen to it at idle. Two-liter, four-cylinder turbocharged engine. There's a good look at the belts and the pulleys. And let's move back to the rear of the car and the exhaust. Next up, we're going to take a walk around the car. So here's a good look at that Inari silver with onyx green metallic. And as I say, those openings to denote the 924 Turbo, the 931 body code at Porsche. A set of Porsche OEM 7-slotted wheels are in place. Single exhaust with the polished exit, but those wheels are often referred to by Porsche people as manhole covers, given their shape and look. And we'll get a better walk around now. This time we're going to have the engine running, and the lights are up too, so you can see those pop-up headlights, look. But there's another good listen to the engine at idle, sounding healthy. We'll get a peek at the interior as well. Again, the original brown, chocolate brown I'll call it.
And you can see that door sills emblazoned with a turbo emblem. There are a few turbo emblems to further differentiate this 931 from the run-of-the-mill 924s. Another under the hatch there. And there's the envelope, I call it, for the sunroof. So when it's removed, it can go into that little vinyl carry case, and it can get stowed right there in the hatch. Good look at the 5-speed shifter, a dogleg shifter for this, so reverses on the top left. And those round marker lights on the sides are typically a 924 tel as opposed to the 944s. Here's a good look at the cockpit from the driver's area. So the bolts are showing a bit of wear, but as I say, original interior on the car. And there's a look at the individual seats for the rear passengers. And working our way to get another listen to that idle with the headlights up in place. Even headlight washers on this 924 turbo. And we've got a few driving videos now. We're mostly just showing off the beautiful scenery surrounding the car. As I say, a Western car. We can help with a few names for any of our Central Canadian followers looking for shipping quotes. We won't arrange shipping, but we can refer some companies that past sellers have used with success. And driving now from the cockpit. We'll keep the commentary down so you can hear the engine at work here. And here's another similar look at driving from the cockpit, but here we're showing off the shift action of the dog leg. So you can see those numbers, how the reverse is on the top left and fifth is down at the bottom right. So cruising along on the western roads here. That dash looks good too, I'd suggest. And down into fifth. So I think that's a pretty good look at our 1980 Porsche 924 Turbo. Again, it's lot 288 on collectorcarcanada.ca. It's finished in a two-tone combo of Inari silver under the onyx green metallic. Chocolate interior. The original interior remains in the car. Again, it's a 2-liter inline 4 with a turbocharger. So yeah, lots of 924s, not so many 924 turbos. The turbo 924, good for 143 horsepower from the factory and 147 pound-feet of torque. Keep in mind it's got the pop-up headlights. It's got the removable sunroof. Again, the AC has been decommissioned, but it's also got the original AM/FM cassette with the Porsche branding. It's a time capsule in itself. So a nice clean car in the interior too, with those rear seats and the clean hatch, including the cargo cover. And the underside, as I say, matches the background of this being a Western car. So that'll about do it for this video. Again, lot 288, the 1980 Porsche 924 Turbo, 5-speed manual, lot 288, collectorcarcanada.ca. I want to thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car.